Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with John Putters from Visionstate. John, how are you today?
I'm great, Tracy. Thank you very much. Happy to be here with you.
You've had a number of news releases that seem significant to me, and so we're looking forward to an update. Starting with the one about a financing to accelerate growth in a smart facility management. Can you tell us more about that?
Sure. So recently we entered into a convertible debenture agreement at 5 cents, which is obviously a premium over the stock price. This has given us the capital to continue with the momentum that we've built going into 2026, which is going to be a very exciting year as we launch our AI model, Tidy Logic, and continue to capitalize on the opportunities presented in Canada, particularly as a result of the new legislation that, in effect, legislates our software, which is an enviable position to be in. We're lucky or fortunate, certainly, in having very good, loyal shareholders that believe in our mission and our objectives, and they're supporting us moving forward.
And of course, let's talk a little bit more about that. That's Bill 190. Many people out there may not be familiar with this. Can you explain how that impacts Visionstate?
Sure. So Bill 190 is essentially legislating digital cleaning records for health and safety. Obviously, we live in a world now where, disease and infections, they can become pandemics. And in fact, in Canada, we've even lost our status as measles free. Now, I'm not going to say WANDA is going to address that, but clearly clean, well-kept facilities will have a significant impact in reducing the spread of disease. So Bill 190 is really to protect people, to make sure that there's access to the cleaning records and what's been done and when and by whom and all the rest of it, which is essentially what WANDA did in the first place. So our product and that legislation meets in the middle at a very nice point, and we've been capitalizing on it.
And of course, you were telling us during the investor talk this morning about how Visionstate really focused on increasing the number of clients from month to month and your relationship and how that's progressing with Bunzl. Can you provide us with an update on this?
Sure. So here's the thing, Tracy. Nobody likes legislation, right? Nobody likes to be legislated. I'm doing things, the government comes along and says there's new legislation that you got to comply with. And if you don't comply with it, it's going to be a $10,000 fine. So what we did, our approach was, okay, so given the fact that this is maybe painful for a lot of organizations to adopt this, we decided we'll onboard all these companies up until December 31st and not bill them until January 1st, which is when the legislation comes into effect. This has been extremely effective as a strategy. So it does forego some revenue in the short term, but as a software as a service model, these contracts can go on for years and years and years. And, we have an 80% margin on our software once it's out there. So our acquisition rate has gone up year over year, probably 200 to 300% as a result of that strategy. And all of those companies will be billed starting in January 1st. So it was really a strategy to get market share. And that's a big thing, obviously, in technology. I think it'd be naive to think that, nobody could recreate, anything anybody's built, quite frankly. We even saw that with the Chinese version of AI that was done at a fraction of the cost of GPT, right? So, our whole strategy is to get as much of the market as possible, as quickly as possible, to increase the value and frankly, to increase the ability to collect data, because it's all about the data at the end of the day, which is why the five largest companies in the world are all essentially data companies, whether that's Meta or X or whatever.
There's a mysterious component in your news releases recently. You just announced about a new pilot agreement with a leading US based facility management company, but you didn't disclose that. Can you tell us a little bit more about this particular pilot project?
Sure. So, really, what got them interested in our technology wasn't just what we did in the cleaning space, like, with WANDA and the audits and inspections. Companies are looking to the future. How is AI going to impact their organization, right? Obviously, it's had a big impact in certain sectors already, but at the pace of change with AI is significant. So to not keep that in your radar would be, I think, at this point, very, very dangerous. So this big US company loved what we were doing with Wanda, but then we threw this extra little piece at them called Tidy Logic, which is our AI model, which is a resource planning tool. So it takes large volumes of data and makes it, within a couple hours, you can start, you can plan and schedule and route and everything using this tool. And that was the difference maker. So they decided, look, we want to be part of that. We'll do a pilot project with you to, test your the veracity of your software. And if we get to that number of 15 locations, clearly that's indicative of adoption, and they're then going to sign a larger agreement for a bigger rollout. This is significant because it's our first large distributor in the US outside of Canada. So we're really excited about it, and the fact that the AI is something that that attracted them. It just demonstrates that that investment in 2025 was well worth it.
So, what should we as shareholders be looking forward to in this next quarter?
Well, January to March is going to be a really interesting one based on the fact that all the billings under Bill 190 are going to be going out. So, look for a strong quarter. I think that, certainly that's not inside information whatsoever. We've disclosed fully that we've been onboarding companies with the intention of invoicing starting January 1st. I think the other thing too is that when we get our Tidy Logic AI fully to market, very excited about the impact on that because it spans different sectors, not just facility management. So it's an area we're going to continue to invest in, and we're going to market that strongly, and sell it through our distribution network like we do. In many respects, it's less intrusive than Wanda. Like Wanda requires a bit of change management on the frontline workers, right? We know, we've seen cleaning staff out in facilities. So, for them to just sign off on a piece of paper to go to a piece of technology, on a mobile app is in some respects a significant leap. Resource planning, whole different thing. So if for example, if this company is doing a complex RFP for a hospital or a university campus that's got 40 buildings, this is a tool that will help them immensely in making sure that they have an accurate quote and an accurate plan on executing that. So, it's in a sense, enhancing something that's already being done. So there isn't a lot of change management per se. It's just using a different tool to get to that.
Well, for all of you clean freaks out there like myself, remember to keep an eye on Vision State. And for more information and to stay up to date, please go to the following website. John, thank you so much for the update.
Thank you, Tracy. Appreciate your time.